Turki announces a few fights that he wanted to make happen. But one interesting fight that I saw, besides Zepeda versus Andy Cruz, one interesting fight that I saw is Moses Ituama versus Martin Bakole. That is a wicked fight. I got Martin Bakole all the way. Moses Ituama, he's a upcoming prospect, a 21-year-old. And I guess Turki wants to feed him to Martin Bakole. 300 pounds, 6'6" Martin Bakole. Now, Moses Ituama has the height. I think Moses is 6'5", 6'6". Moses Ituama has the height. But does he not only have the talent, but the size to go against Bakole? I want you to look back to the Efe Ajagba fight. A lot of people were writing off Martin because it was a draw. But it was a draw because you kind of had the William Skull-Canelo fight in that fight where William Skull's moving around the ring. Canelo's just walking him down. He's not really pushing the pace. He's not really cutting off the ring. He's not really trying to get at him. He's just waiting for Skull to come at him. And that was the same for the Bakole fight, where Efe Ajagba, he's jabbing on the outside. He's jabbing. He's using his feet. And a lot of people think he won because of that. But anytime that Martin Bakole got to him, like hands on him, it was a disaster for Efe Ajagba. He was getting annihilated with the hands of Bakole, with those 300-pound punches. He was getting annihilated. I remember all it took was like one combination, and then Efe Ajagba was bleeding from the nose. One combination. So when we bring Moses Ituama into the mix, what do we think is going to happen for him? Now, one thing that Moses has is footwork. Not a lot of heavyweights have that. Usyk came from cruiserweight and brought that to the heavyweight sphere of things, right? But not a lot of heavyweights have the footwork, the movement. Moses has that. And he also has good punch, punch selection. He has a good punch selection. He has good counters and perfect timing. But is that enough for Martin Bakole? In the Ajagba fight, Martin was getting hit with a lot of good shots. A lot. From the outside. He just shoved it off, kept coming forward. It was nothing. So, with this Ituama fight, I just see Moses being walked down like just a flood. Alright, the phone had overheated for a second. But I ended off on saying Moses is going to receive a flood and flurry of 300-pound combinations. And ultimately, he's going to crumble under the pressure of a Martin Bakole. I don't see another reality. Now, okay, I do some imagination here. Moses Ituama uses his footwork to not only just to outbox Bakole, move in and out, stay out of the range of punches. The problem with that is Martin Bakole has a 7-foot range, right? That's the problem that Jared Anderson dealt with. Is yes, he had the movement, he had the footwork, but it's a 7-foot range that you have to get out of. So it's either you stay in this engagement zone or like Demetrius Johnson calls it, the void. You stay within his engagement zone, right? Or you constantly leave it, trying to plan out your next shot. But the problem is, if you're outside of the engagement zone, as you try to come in, Martin can easily see you trying to make your way in. If you stay in the engagement zone, his 7-foot range, then he can easily hit you. Like with Efe Ajagba, he was almost 7 feet, right? He was marching outside this engagement zone and then jump in with a jab and then a combination if Bakole just covered up, because that's what he usually did. So you can just stay outside the range, I guess, and try to jab the entire fight. But Turki Al-Sheikh already expressed that he wants smaller rings, and then there's like a petition of thousands of names where people are wanting a no running policy implemented. And not necessarily that Moses is going to be running in this fight. The only way he can fight, maybe I'm just being very close-minded, the only way he can fight this is staying on the outside and trying to jab your way in. A lot of people underestimate the hand speed and the boxing IQ of Martin Bakole. He's extremely intelligent with his punches. Alright. He's extremely intelligent with his punches and his timing. He was timing Jared Anderson perfectly. Sorry about that. I don't see how Moses Ituama doesn't get timed and then caught up. Like with Efe, he would be moving, but he would eventually get stuck. And that's when Martin Bakole fucked him up. When he got stuck, I don't see that not happening with Moses Ituama. Especially, well, I can't say less skills. He's about to fight Dillian White. And he might have a better fight in between, where more of a he's just not going against any Joseph Parkers or Caballels yet, so it's hard to tell his skill level, because he hasn't met his match, which is needed to assess skills. But we'll find out what happens. Moses Ituama versus Martin Bakole. Turki Al-Sheikh expressed his desire to make this fight happen, alongside Mbili versus Hernandez, alongside Andy Cruz versus Zapata. All interesting fights. We'll see what happens.